We're recording. Okay, we're going.
Woo!
Okay, making progress, doing things right. Okay, let me close this down now because this is in the way. Let me text my boss back because he doesn't understand that I'm in a meeting.
Deal.
He sent a video of his MacBook beeping. Lovely.
Oh gosh.
IDS 410, right? IDS 410? Is that what the class is? That's the code, right?
301.
301. What's 410? 16 slash, try to keep my notes accurate here.
Okay, I think the funniest part is I don't know if he's wearing pants in his video that he sent us.
Hey man, it's a video. You know, you gotta wear the suit, you got the tie on, everything, and just nothing else.
Oh my
That's too
gosh.
funny. What am I doing? Okay, fourth meeting questions here. Okay. So we have to decide what the most powerful argument against IDS is. And the one that I think stuck with me the most was that like in certain disciplines there's been like an expansion of knowledge constantly. So like it's really hard to dip into two at the same time when like if you were practicing medicine or something, you know, like all of a sudden there's so much you have to learn and there's no way you can combine that with something else. It's impossible. That makes sense to me as like the biggest argument against it. But for like other disciplines that aren't maybe as like in depth and crazy, I don't see that as being as much of a problem, you know. Like a business major
Yeah.
with like mine is business and communication. So I think those kind of coincide real well. And so I really don't see the problem, you know, with the depth of knowledge, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's what I picked up on too. So like the second argument, and I think this is kind of what you're going off of, it's a second argument against interdisciplinary studies holds that it is doubtful business to spend time in interdisciplinary studies learning projects when the student lacks a matter or lacks a mature base in any of the contributing disciplines. So it kind of sounded to me like a lot of the arguments against it, just like what you said, had to deal with not knowing enough about either subject. Like
Yeah.
if you wanted to know more than one thing, you should have done a major and a minor. Like
Mm-hmm.
trying to combine two disciplines together, you're not going to be able to gain enough knowledge to be proficient in either.
Exactly. I still, even then, like that is like the best argument you could make against it. But that depends on what your two disciplines you chose were. Because I feel like if they coincide real well, then it is kind of a nice little blend. And so you're learning both and you can apply it to both as sort of like a niche. But if you're like trying to do something crazy like, you know, economics and philosophy, you know, they're very different. So they don't really like mesh as well.
Yeah, well, and there was one, I'm trying to find it again, and of course I'm struggling with it, but there was one part of the reading where it went off about how pretty much like anyone studying interdisciplinary on anything, which I thought, and I know this is not the question, but I thought that was just kind of absurd. Like it made a comment about how these students aren't actually like studying and taking the time to learn anything, where
Right?
you still are studying and learning, you know? So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just that concept of like trying to combine two things doesn't work. Like you need to learn one thing perfectly and be able to apply it.
Yeah. That's such a old way of thinking. I feel like when they were talking about the
Yeah,
arguments like for it beforehand, they were talking about how like the disciplinarian approach like exploded in the early 1800s or the like late 1800s, early 1900s, but then like as society has kind of progressed and gone a little bit more modern, a little bit more I don't know, the world's starting to shrink a bit, so it's not required for everyone to be a specialist. We got John's
yeah,
iPhone popping.
I think so.
Nice. Give him a second.
I'm trying to find. There was one more argument, and I'm trying to find it.
Oh my god.
Hello?
How's it
Hello.
going, man?
Oh, no way. I just got the app and everything.
Nice.
All right. I
I
think I
hope
can
the
even
laptop's okay.
get the FaceTime going.
Yeah, it looks like we got something. There you go.
Oh, here we go.
Nice.
Uh,
What happened?
uh,
It just like
Um,
exploded.
so look, it's just on, it's like this has like been for 5 minutes now.
Yikes.
It's crazy. I don't know what it says. I Googled it and it says that the RAM was not installed right, but that doesn't
How
make
did
any
that?
sense. Exactly, because I've had it for like 6 years.
When did you last install RAM?
Never, exactly.
Yeah, that's dumb. Looks like a trip to the Apple shop.
Yeah, seriously, the worst place.
Um,
So, what have I missed?
we just started. We're going
Word.
through the arguments against interdisciplinary studies.
Okay.
The one I mentioned was that like there's like a wealth of knowledge for like certain subjects that you really need to focus on if you're learning them, like in medicine or something.
Right.
Um, and then Darian was going off of that too. What was the one that you mentioned?
I don't remember. Pretty much just the same thing. That if you want to have knowledge base in more than one thing, it should be like a major and a minor. That was one of the big things that I picked up on. Like, if you want that knowledge, you need to do it that way, or you're pretty much just not choosing to fully engage in anything. Is kind of what
Yeah.
I picked up from it.
Yeah, I hear that.
Like the
That-
focusing on school at a time is like a cop out.
Wait, what'd you say?
Like focusing on the two at a time and saying that you're integrating them together is kind
Oh,
of like a
yeah.
cop out. That's what I got.
That's kind of, yeah, what they're pushing. What was the question, though? Which was the best or worst that I agreed
Or
with?
the best arguments against it, the strongest arguments against it.
Yeah, I would have said what you said, Zach. If you're not like fields like I don't know, like accounting or medicine or stuff like that, where you have to be like really in depth, kind of like defeats that purpose a little bit.
Yeah, you realistically like with those, you probably should be majoring in those. You know, I don't want my surgeon to be a interdisciplinary and with like
Yeah,
a second major of philosophy or something,
I would absolutely
Or
agree.
sociology.
theater,
I'm
art.
like, just keep that knife away from me, please. So that's what I got from that.
Okay. So what would you guys say? What would you say the most powerful argument on behalf of it is?
Was that from the Tuesday's reading?
Yeah, I need to pull up Tuesday's reading to find one of those. Just a second.
I'm trying to think. Let me see.
There's a couple good ones.
Wish I'd kind of written them down now.
So like one of them is like he recognizes that some interdisciplinarians are more concerned with connections in the real world other than with connections in our knowledge of the real world. So pretty much like how we can connect those things together to be more successful in like real life settings. So not just sitting down writing like a research paper or
Mhm.
you know healing a patient, but being able to take multiple topics
Yeah.
and apply them to bigger worldly issues.
Hmm. That makes sense. Hold on. There was one that I saw. Well, the one that I thought too is the whole like tunnel vision thing. How like in some areas, if someone's like so specialized that they're unable to consider other forms of thought or unable to apply different ideas from different disciplines to what they're doing. And I think that makes a lot of sense for like I don't know, maybe like architecture or something like that, or construction. Like, let's say you're trying to build a building, but then you're unaware of like the biological impact that building that building is going to have, or like the ecological impact. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Where
Yeah.
yeah, where like you're worried about the environment and everything, that like you're gonna wipe out all these like natural habitats and stuff like that for like building that. But if someone is so focused on the building, they can build this grand structure and make it fit all nice, but you don't realize what you're doing to the environment there. That's where I thought that
Mm-hmm.
kind of was a good comparison, you know, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that like ties into talking about like global warming and like
Yeah.
how each like facet that's looking into that and the reason for it is like, oh, it's because of A, B, and C, and everyone else goes A, B, and C. And how are you really solving that problem without being able to integrate those theories together and come up with a real solution?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, which if you only know one thing, you're never going to be able to do that.
Yeah. Exactly. Baby boomer generation.
Mm.
Bunch of disciplinarians.
Can you guys see me right now?
No, your visual's out, but
Mm.
your audio's in.
Interesting. I'm trying to pull up the readings on a different app.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably it'll, when you switch back to us, we'll get you in FaceTime. I'm trying to write these all down while
So
we go. So forgive me if I get a little distracted.
I really liked this in the arguments against it. Sorry, I'm trying to find what notes I took. The kind of thinking involved in interdisciplinary study are more difficult and require more intellectual maturity than those do or than do the disciplines. Scholars studying the process of intellectual development of college students, blah blah blah, have argued that it's blah blah blah. So pretty much it's just saying that it takes more knowledge and care and study to actually put your all into two things and worry about how they can coincide than just focusing on that one discipline. I thought that was a really good argument. It's not
That's,
that people are lazy, it's that they're working even harder to be able to combine them.
yeah,
that was for like arguments for interdisciplinary studies. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that one.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I think there was one where they were talking about like students going directly into college and then trying to bring two disciplines together are at a disadvantage. I think there was something about that in there because you're not, or it's a lot to like now learn two disciplines and then learn how to critically think and bring them together if you've never experienced anything like that. But I think for people that are a little bit, you know, little bit older, not quite 18 and fresh out of high school, but have like experienced some real world issues. Being able to bring together two different ideas like that works a lot easier for us. I think that was what I took away from it. I don't remember where that was though, if that was in the Thursday reading or the Tuesday reading.
And I don't know if I've been kind of reading as you guys have been talking, but did you guys mention the arguments that are for interdisciplinary studies where the specialization can blind like people to the broader context? I think I agree with that a lot, just because of exactly what they say right after that about how like this little thing about the geographer I really liked.
Yeah, I was looking at that one too, where like, yeah, so this guy, he's, he knows a lot of maps and he knows what it looks like, but he's never actually
gone out and looked at it. Yeah,
it's tunnel vision.
Exactly.
What was that, Darian?
It just says he can't leave his desk. Like, how would he know? He has to stay there.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, discuss the most important skill or trait you want to develop and be able to articulate to others to offset the inherent weakness of this degree.
Specifically for me, I think the transfer trait is probably the best one for me, because since like I said, I was doing business and communication, I want to be able to bring communication practices and different methods and take that into the business world. So like I plan on doing stuff that's like public relations or like training or something like that, and be like someone who puts together different training programs and applies them into the business world. But I want to be able to mesh those two together as best as I possibly can. So I think transfer for me is the best one that I look for. What about you, Darian?
Well, okay, so first of all, I'm sorry, is this from like the first week? So like the traits and skills that we first went over, are we picking those, or just like what we want to take on from like the importance of our degree? Does that make sense? Like, cause you know how in the first week, the traits were like, entrepreneurship, love and learning, self-reflection, or am I like thinking too much about it?
No, that's a good one. Let me pull that up too.
You said the first week?
Yeah, it was module 1, the very first like perusal we did.
All right, let me see here.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's what he's getting at with that question.
Let me take another look.
Because he says the most important skill or trait you want to develop.
I'm looking at the writing report. That's not what I want. My meeting instructions.
Or I could just be like overthinking it and be like this reading of like the reasons for this degree. Like I don't.
No, I think you might be right, because of literally the most important skill or trait you want to develop to offset the inherent weakness of an IDS degree. And the traits, the perusal was called the skills and traits of interdisciplinary studies. So I think you might be right. Let me go over here.
Okay.
Then. Yeah, so let me pull that up then, because I was thinking it was just transfer, conceptual blending, and the other one. Let's see here, module 1.
If you go to the like live reading instructions, it will show you all of them.
Oh, did it?
Mm-hmm. For module.
Oh, for 1. Module. Okay. Hold on. My dog stinks. He needs a bath. He just came over and sat by me. I'm like, oh no. All right. Okay. Yeah. The perspective taking, critical thinking, integration, entrepreneurship,
Ooh,
love of learning, self reflection.
I got mine, guys. My
Go
trait
for it,
that I
John.
want
Okay, what's yours?
that I want to work on or like perfect, I guess, would be intellectual courage. Just reading it right now, I feel like
Okay, explain it.
so yeah. I feel like it's really hard for me to see other people's perspectives, like why figure out why they don't think the same as me. So if I could perfect that, I feel like the sky's the limit. Like so many problems would be avoided if I was able to see other people's perspectives a little better, I think.
All right. I think for me, out of these ones,
That's perfect.
I'd probably take a communicative competence would be real nice for me to learn because I feel like I have a really easy time getting my ideas out on paper, but working it through it like orally sometimes. I don't know if you guys have noticed that my brain's going, but like my mouth is trying to catch up. If that makes sense. Like this whole
Yeah.
situation exactly is communicative competence. That's what I'm trying to work on. You know. So that's for one thing that I would love to be able to take away, so I could possibly apply that to my work life after school. I think that would really help me because I think I have a lot of really good ideas and I'm able to write a really good essay, but I just being able to like get it out there in like a meeting, that would
And
be
like,
best.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a skill for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what never mind.
I took a communication class, which is just
I think mine.
go for it, Darian. Sorry.
Sorry, my internet's so slow. Um, I think mine would be the metacognition, just because so it's awareness and understanding of one's own thought process. I feel like being able to take everything I've been learning and everything that I have learned throughout my like career path and being able to put all of those thoughts together and actually be able to articulate why I would be like a good person for a job or why I have like a good understanding of what I'm doing or be able to come up with a good plan for work or, whatever that may be one day. But actually being aware of all the different things that I understand and being able to put them into like a game plan or put it into action. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That does make sense. I feel like that would really help at like a busy storefront like that for like Starbucks. You said you're a Starbucks manager, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like being able to take some of this stuff and like real world apply it would be like phenomenal, especially there. You guys go through so much crazy crap.
I'd imagine.
Like, yeah. I couldn't even,
Well,
I've thought about it because like you were
especially
saying,
like
like,
a team.
what was that, Darren?
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say you mentioned how they help pay for ASU online. It's like, wow, that's a great idea. But then I went to Starbucks and it was busy, and I was like, it's okay. Loans, they're not that bad. I'll take them.
Yeah, my store does about $50,000 a week, so we
Wow,
do about an average of $7,000 a day.
Jeez.
Yeah,
that's a
it's
lot.
pretty intense.
It's
Yeah,
a lot
but
of milk.
every once in a while we'll like run out of milk and I have to go get it at the store. And I feel like
Really?
I look like a crazy like daycare lady or
Yeah,
something with
like
like my
6
20 gallons
jugs.
of 2%.
That's intense. That's funny.
But like even because all of us, I mean, could end up like leading a big team one day, and I see this a lot in like leadership, like being able to have all of these traits and skills, and
Mhm.
leading a team of two or a team of 100. makes a huge difference to be able to like actually articulate your thoughts and all of your skills and knowledge to a team and help them develop, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. My manager in In-N-Out, he was extremely intelligent. He was a really good leader, but he was also kind of a dick. So like he had his weaknesses, but like being able to still like watch him apply everything that like In-N-Out has taught him was like crazy. Like I don't even know how much money that store brought in, but we were insane. We were right next to UCI, so we were right next to a college campus, and we just got slaughtered every day, and it was
I bet
it
that
was
was like I bet that was like 10 times worse than Starbucks. No offense.
well.
In and out next to a college campus.
I feel like Starbucks
Not
like
to a college campus.
All right, well
Yeah.
that's fair.
it's just like them making the different coffees and like being able to like put together all these crazy different drinks and all these recipes and stuff. That blows my mind. At In-N-Out, it's a burger.
That's true.
Like
That's
put the
true.
burger on the
Can't really
bun.
mess it up.
Just roll it out. Some orders want fries, and it's just, I mean, it is putting together each individual order with like different amounts of fries and different amounts of burgers, but nothing like I couldn't make those drinks. I would not be able to memorize all that at all.
Yeah,
That's not
seriously.
happening. Be winning it 90%.
That's what you think. Yeah, no, that's what you think until you're there, and then you're like mindlessly making like 19 drinks at the same time, and somebody will move like one thing, and your muscle memory is so intense that you'll like grab the wrong thing even though you know it's the wrong thing and like still use it
Oh
because
my
you're just
gosh.
a full blown robot.
Full blown.
Yeah, I can see that. Man, I don't even know. Like I just it look out of all the crazy storefront jobs that I've seen, that's or like I just yeah, that would blow my mind. I would go home crying every day. I'd rather if like at that point I'd rather be like a bartender just to like I'd rather make drinks like I can feel better about, you know, instead of ruining someone's day by giving them bad coffee, I'll just give them alcohol. You can't complain.
True. Can't mess up
It's still
alcohol, really.
dealing with
Exactly.
addiction. I feel like
What was
okay,
that,
guys.
Derek? You kind of like cut in and
Oh,
out.
I just said you're still dealing with addiction. You're still gonna have some people who are not nice and some people who are really happy.
True,
Not what
true.
I said. This is not the proper mix. Hold on, shit. Drink that one. I'll make you another. Change.
Yeah.
Chill out, everybody. Yeah. All right. Back to the questions. We should probably look at that again real
I
quick.
think that's it.
We go through them all. We did. Hold on.
There's only the 3 questions, and the last one is the most important skill or trait.
Oh.
And then it says this is the last live meeting, so you don't need to schedule a new one.
Oh. The last live meeting.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But okay, so has anyone looked into next week yet? Like
No.
what
week?
our big, like what our big project is, or whatever's worth all the points?
No.
Yeah.
Have you?
40 points, 40 points, 40 points. So within a week, we're supposed to put together a research paper?
Really?
Let me see.
Well, it
It
looks
might
like.
be here. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, maybe it's not as intense as I thought it was.
Okay. So let's see.
So it looks like next week is completely by ourselves, but then the week after we have to do like a video. Is that by ourselves, or do we have more stuff to do together?
Let me see. First assignment, you'll look over PowerPoint. We spend 2 to 3 minutes reflecting on what you learned. Link, yeah, blah, blah, different questions. To learn how to use the video capabilities of Canvas.
So this might be our last thing altogether, guys.
Yeah, I think this is our last thing together. Shoot, that went fast.
Been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. Let me see.
So
Yeah, that's what
update
it looks
if you guys care. It's just fully
It's
loaded,
so
not
lit.
doing anything.
Red rings of death.
Honestly, I hope that's not the case.
That's awful, man.
You're
Yeah,
so close to the end of the term too.
I know. But I have another one starting next session, like the next version.
yeah.
So
So do I.
I
I'm
just
glad I'm not dealing with that. But I would have a heart attack. I couldn't handle
yeah.
that.
Well,
Let's see.
good luck to you and your laptop.
Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
All
Hope
right.
everyone does okay this last week. I'm gonna go ahead and end the meeting. I've recorded it, so I should get the little link and I'll go post it on YouTube real quick.
Cool.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Yep. See you guys.